A lifelong Republican and former top administration official has abandoned Donald Trump, and she put out an excellent ad explaining why.
I'm Olivia Troy. I was Homeland Security and Counterterrorism Advisor to Vice President Pence and served as Vice President Pence's lead staff member on the COVID-19 response. I'd been on the COVID task force from day one. The virus was very unpredictable at the beginning. There were a lot of unknowns, but towards the middle of February, we knew it wasn't a matter of if COVID would become a big pandemic here in the United States. It was a matter of when. But the president didn't want to hear that because his biggest concern was that we were in an election year, and how is this going to affect what he considered to be his record of success? It was shocking to see the president saying that the virus was a hoax, saying that everything's okay when we know that it's not. The truth is, he doesn't actually care about anyone else but himself. He made a statement once that was very striking. I never forgot it because it pretty much defined who he was. When we were in a task force meeting, the president said, maybe this COVID thing is a good thing. I don't like shaking hands with people. I don't have to shake hands with these disgusting people. Those disgusting people are the same people that he claims to care about. These are the people still going to his rallies today who have complete faith in who he is. If the president had taken this virus seriously, or if he had actually made an effort to tell how serious it was, he would have slowed the virus spread. He would have saved lives. It was the opportunity in honor of a lifetime to be able to serve in the White House. I put my heart and soul into this role every single day. But at some points, I would come home at night, I would look myself in the mirror and say, are you really making a difference? Does it matter? Because no matter how hard you work and what you do, the president is going to do something that is detrimental to keeping Americans safe, which is why you signed up for this role. It was awful. It was terrifying. I have been a Republican for my entire life. I am a McCain Republican, I am a Bush Republican, and I am voting for Joe Biden because I truly believe we are at a time of constitutional crisis. At this point, it's country over party.
All right, so look, that's a strong ad. I think the most striking part, of course, is the meeting where he talked about the virus being good for him, right? Because it doesn't have to deal with the disgusting people. Trump's a germaphobe. I know Trump's a germaphobe. That should be common knowledge, right? So understand that he thinks those disgusting people, well, that's you guys. That's you guys. That's what he thinks of you, right? All you are is just marks. He thinks you're dumb and gross. And so understand that's who he is. He lies to the American people, gaslights them constantly, and yet here's another person in the long line of people who has just confirmed it. You are a mark. You are a means to the end in order to feed his ego and allow him to get more money and more power. If you're a Trump voter, stop. Stop. And by the way, she is not the first person to have left this administration. We've seen a ton of people get fired or just leave on their own, a lot of times because the president asked them to do illegal things and they wouldn't do it. He'd ask for loyalty, not to America, but to him personally, okay? And my other favorite point was when she talked about whether or not she can look herself in the mirror, being on the coronavirus task force. Because look, is she doing anything? Well, the coronavirus task force hasn't really, look, I should say the president hasn't really done anything, okay? Congress hasn't really done anything. And it's because the coronavirus task force was being undermined by a shadow task force ran by Jared Kushner. They basically said, states, you're on your own. That's not the role of the federal government. The free market's going to take care of it, right? And look, also, Kushner didn't give a damn about the virus affecting the blue states, and so they didn't care. Not their problem. That said, is it going to move a lot of Republicans? So that's the question. That's why they do this. This is another person who is she even said she's a pro John McCain, pro George W. Bush Republican, right? That's part of your never Trump Republican group. Is it going to move most Republicans? No, not at all. Republicans still overwhelmingly approve of Donald Trump. And they even approve of his response of coronavirus. His hardcore followers still think it's a hoax, which is what the president has said on many occasions Why? Because it's no longer a political party. You have to understand, the people that have not left Trump now are never going to leave Trump because it's not about facts. It's not about reality. It's not even about party. It's about blind obedience to a cult leader. That's what it is. And so, yes, they are going to continue to support him. Another thing that I have, of course, is the rehabilitation of George W. Bush, right? I'm a George W. Bush Republican. Okay, so you're one of the people that led us into a disastrous war in the Middle East, in which hundreds of thousands of people in Iraq died. Okay, now look, 200,000 people have died from COVID in America. Okay, and so that's horrific. And then you look at what we did overseas as a result of George W. Bush. But since it didn't happen to Americans, well, they don't really care a whole lot about that. Okay? And so, look, yeah, Bush era Republicans, you're going to vote against Trump. That's good, right? But that doesn't mean that you're my friend. It doesn't mean that I absolve you of all the other stuff that you did beforehand, as well as, of course, lead the party to Donald Trump. Look, Trumpism is the end result of conservative ideology. It really is. And we saw that pop up all throughout the years, throughout the Bush years, ever since 9/11. Okay, over 1 million in Afghanistan, as you point that out, yes. Now, part of what led to Donald Trump is picking people like Sarah Palin to be VP. That was John McCain, okay? Not only that, but if you went against the Iraq War when George W. Bush was president, you were apparently treasonous. The Dixie Chicks have still never recovered, okay? And the government, by the way, was given massive spying powers, homeland security, all that stuff. Donald Trump is using that to great effect against the left. And so voting for Biden, first of all, it's not really going to do anything to erase that past, right? Biden is basically an incredibly conservative Democrat, right? And so this vote, I think it's pretty easy for them.